Hello everyone, just a quick shop talk and update video. And if you remember in our last video on the Johnson Viking Valiant, we went in and replaced R3, that 18K resistor, better known as the Chernobyl resistor. And we also found that that resistor was jumped out with a pink wire. There's been a lot of speculations and comments about that. One comment was maybe they jumped it out and put another resistor under the radio, and you know, that was checked and no, there was no other 18K resistor coming from the supply. Someone said maybe they were testing something. Comments was also made somebody was trying to hop the radio up a bit to make it do more for certain services. Well, that's not really the case neither. I think at some point that one person was working on this radio and was having a problem in this VFO with drifting, and instead of going in and fixing the supply, that they jumped out the resistor to get more voltage to the regulator tube to help calm down some of the resistor, instead of going in and fixing the original problem, which was probably capacitors and resistors that had drifted down. You know, this radio was extremely clean. It looked real good. This is the older radio without the bias parts, which makes this radio somewhere over 60 plus years old. But for that radio to be as clean as it was, I don't think that it's been abused or used on services that it wasn't intended to be used on. I just think that whoever worked on it and jumped out this resistor just didn't have enough knowledge of figuring out what the problem was. And another thing was that if you look at the soldering around the resistor and how it was done, no way matched the work that was done under the radio with replacing the capacitors and resistors and stuff. You can tell it was definitely done by two different techs. So, you know, I think in the second tech went in and he replaced all the caps and resistors, never went into the VFO cage to look at any problem there. I would think by then, once he bumped this voltage up, that this VFO probably went completely crazy. Now, I did not fire this rig up to see where it was at, because I did my preliminary testing and checking before that was done. And that's when I found the resistor being jumped out. And if you also remember the modulators had burnt resistors on top of the plate cap. So, you know, that's my thought on what was going on. Two different techs worked on it. Neither one of them could really get the original problem fixed. One went to one area, one went to another area. Again, the cap replacement, resistor replacement was done very nice. Couple of things I wouldn't have done, you know, like just leaving some of the capacitors hanging, which I did tidy up. But I think that the problem to start with was bad caps. They jumped out the resistor, get more voltage to help try to stabilize the VFO. Second guy didn't catch that, and then probably just sold the radio off. The guy that had brought this radio to me, he bought it from a Hamfest, so you know how Hamfest finds can be. So that's my thought on the Johnson Viking Valiant. I may not even be in the right ballpark, but that's what I think was going on with that. Also over here on the repair bench we have a Yaesu FT101E. Now this radio was brought in with transmit problems and he wanted to change the tubes in it. Well, after checking this radio out, I found out that tubes are not the problem. There's some other funny stuff going on inside the transmit circuit that we'll have to be taking a look at and getting to it. And one of them is neutralization cannot be achieved on this particular radio. It does have the original neutralization capacitor installed. There's also a problem with a lot of harmonics is being generated. Now, as far as I can tell, this radio is all complete. Has a CW filter in it, and the single side band does not have an AM filter, so it doesn't look like it was used for AM. It's also very pretty much clean. If you I don't know if you can tell, but here on the faceplate it does have the original plastic that comes on the faceplate. It's in, you know, pretty decent shape. No scratched up, nothing else going on with it, you know. So this is a radio that we will be going through here in the near future to get it fixed up and back out the door. So we'll be going through the transmit section, the audio section, and neutralization of this nice looking 101E. So, you know, stay tuned for that. A lot of people, I mean lots of people, constantly emailing me and commenting on why I haven't got back to the FT101 series. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you with that. You know, I started out this channel as just working on my old stuff, and even right now I have enough stuff in here that belongs to me that I can make videos for over a year, even if I produce one a week. You noticed I haven't been able to get a video out every week because every time I'm in the shop I'm working on someone's equipment instead of working on some of my own stuff, which I had planned to do. I'm not saying that I'm completely going to stop taking folks stuff in, because honestly, you know, I gotta have cash flow to get out here, even on your own equipment. To get out here and work on that takes money to buy parts and accessories, and you know, plus pick up stuff to work on and test. So no, it's not that I'm not going to do any videos on my own stuff, but that is my plan to get back on. Like I say, you know, I do take in some repairs for cash flow. So yes, we will be getting back on the FT101, the $10 flea market find, which is sitting over here at the other bench. But you know, I do kind of have to draw the line on the amount of equipment I do take in, because right now I have some equipment in here that has really taken a lot of time up. I'm working just about every weekend at the place I work at. I'm not getting time out here during the weekdays. I'm mostly watching my two twin grandkids in the afternoons, and I'm gonna be honest with you, anytime I get to spend with them, I'm gonna do it. I love the two little rugrats to death, so you know, I spend all the time I can with them. So yes, we are going to get back on the FT101 series. I promise you that. In fact, it is sitting on the other bench over here, and I'm doing some more work and shooting videos on that. But I have to get this 101E together, and we'll troubleshoot the problems together on this one, and hope to be doing some more videos on this one here in the very near future. Also wanted to update, I told y'all after I used this for a while I would make another comment on it, on this cheap little soldering hot air station that Banggood sent me. I'm gonna be honest with you, I am completely happy with it. It just continues. It works great. I like the idea that it shuts itself down when you're not using. You know, I've been using the hot air quite a bit on it, and the soldering station, and this unit just seems to perform just about flawlessly. Now, Banggood did send me a pack of 10 tips that I got in, and I've been playing around with some of them. You know, my most favorite tip to use is the small chisel tip. I think this is the 1/16 chisel tip, and then I use a 1/8 chisel tip mostly on older radios like the Yaesu and stuff, you know, because you need a little bit more thermal mass to heat up some of them solder joints. But yes, this little thing is still kicking on and working real good. I don't use the sponge, that's why it's still in this little compact size. So now it seems to be a good unit. It holds the temperature. The hot air gun, that ain't quite as hot. You have to turn it up just a little bit more from what my Xtronics is, but still it works flawlessly. Oh yeah, while I'm looking at it, back here in the back, you can see the Soloff capacitor tester. This is the one that Mike's Radio Repair Centers. We will be going through that also in the near future, just soon as I get the time. But I'd really like to get this. It works just like it is, but before I use it a lot, I like to get those caps changed out and get it tested out. We also have all those other voltmeters, heat kit vacuum tube voltmeters, that we've got to go through and see what we're going to do about getting them out and giving them away. So we'll be having some more giveaway drawings here sometime in the near future. Another piece of equipment here that has been taking a lot of time to troubleshoot and go through, this SV-36. I've got a lot of footage already on it. It's been a lot of work done on this radio, and the problem is, you know, when these came in, I got a pair of them, and this one is in better shape than what the other one is. And this is the one that the owner wants back as soon as it's finished. But I've got one schematic. I've downloaded other schematics. There's not a lot of information on the internet about these. So there seems to be one basic schematic for the SV-36. However, both of these radios are built just about entirely different, and neither one of the two match the schematic 100%. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm having to draw out and draw my own schematics for and get through, and to figure out how to troubleshoot this very, very strange laid out radio. It just takes a lot of time to go through stuff like this. And inside you can kind of see the layout of it and how it's designed, from the IF part of it. And had to replace these drive belts on the gear, the tuning mechanisms. And that's just a lot of work in old rigs like this. As you can see, underneath of it, it is just crammed, packed full of stuff, and a lot of wiring, a lot of different things to look for. And one good thing, not a whole lot of electrolytics in this radio. There's a few, but not a whole lot of them. So it's it's going to take time to go through stuff like this. Another rig that I'm working on that's taking some time is, I have a Kenwood 940 that was hit by lightning, and spending a lot of time in that radio. A lot of people asked me when I was going to get back onto the 940 that I did a video on a little over a year ago. Well, that radio, trust me, is not worth putting the time in, and it has become a part stoner. It's just too much of it. The whole final section has been smoked out. The main boards underneath of it has been screwdrivered, and I think somebody used a 200 watt soldering iron to work on it. They have just almost destroyed the main boards under it. So no, we will not be working on that radio anymore. And sitting over here on the vintage workbench is the $10 FT101EE that we started this video series on. As you can see, it's on the bench. It is being worked on in the spare time. So we'll be getting some more videos as promised over a year ago to get back on this thing. We made, quite a bit of progress on it, but I like to go ahead and get this thing finished up sometime so I can go ahead and add it back to my collection. I've got the relay poured out. We're going to have to and this relay can be cleaned, but I've got some new relays. They are wired different. They are not the same. It's not plug and play. Yes, they will plug in, but it will not work because the wires are going to be in different locations on the pins. So I'm going to show you how to take that relay. I'll give you the part numbers for it and how to rewire the socket to accept the new relay. And just about finished up with the Sony V-21. I had quite a bit of footage on this. Memory card failure in the camera. I had one memory card that I was using to do several projects with, and it was on, all this repair work was done on one memory card, and that memory card just decided to quit. Now normally I would take what's on the memory card and put it on one of my external terabyte drives, but I didn't. For some reason I never did it on that one. But yeah, we'll be getting on this some video footage of this V-21, and you'll be able to see how well it operates and how good it sounds. Still, somebody commented on a video I did on this when I first started working on it. When we went in, we found the problem, we automatically got the thing back up and going. Someone commented that they had a display for a V-21 and want to know if I was interested in it. Well, I replied back to them, never heard back from this guy. So if you have a V-21 display, I would love to acquire it for the other V-21 that we have that I've got boxed up right now looking for parts. I would love to get that one back up and running also. Now guys, y'all remember the Deoxit video contest? I'm still running in this video contest, and until last week I've been holding first place. And I got a little, I'll be honest with you, I got a little worried about this guy here. He went from less than 100 votes up to now 512 votes, while I'm still holding that 423 votes. And he just kind of sprung up and passed me. I was a little bit worried about there was some funky stuff going on, but from what I found out, this guy is an admin on a Facebook forum. It's an audio type forum. I don't do Facebook. YouTube is about it. I don't do any of that other stuff, just don't have time for it. But he has posted his video on Facebook, and he's probably got about 40,000 users on Facebook. So yeah, he's passed me by quite a bit, soon to be over 100 votes. Guys, I don't ask a lot of y'all. I don't ask y'all to like and subscribe. I very seldom ask that in a video. I do like to hear comments. I like it when folks subscribe and like a video. I figure what I do is it is what it is. I don't hammer people to do things. It's nice. I've heard people tell me a year ago that by the end of this year you're going to be over 10,000 subscribers. I'm barely under 9,000. I don't believe in all the fluff and explosions and all the the bling that people do. You know, I just don't have time to do all that kind of stuff. You know, my videos or what they are. And you know, but if y'all have time, you can vote on this daily. I will leave a link down below. This contest runs to the end of this month, and then they'll declare the winner sometime first week of October. So, like I said, I'll leave the link down below. If y'all can, please vote. Support the channel. This is one way to support the channel. You know, is by voting on this. So, and we'll just see how it comes up. Like I say, I'm not begging no one to do anything. You know, it's just that if you can vote daily. So over the past month, I've been asked twice if I could do a video on the Heathkit DX100. Now, I have always wanted a DX100, but I settled for an Apache because that's the only thing I could find locally. The price to ship a DX100, since it weighs so much, is just crazy. And then you have to worry about it getting damaged. So I promised if I ever pick up a DX100, I will do videos on it. Just hang tight with me. And one day when I'm going to come up, hopefully if I can go to another ham fest here in the near future, I'll be able to find one that we can start a project on a DX100. But just it seems like finding them locally or hard to do. But we'll find one eventually. So you know, just hang tight, and we'll see if one comes along. So I've been paying a guy to come up here and scrape my driveway, pour the dirt back up on the driveway for the past 15 years. And I got a bit tired of doing that. So last year I picked up this old tractor. And this is a 1949 Massey Harris. And it's a little bit smaller than the International Super 8. But it's only, you know, about 10 horsepower. It is a good little tractor though, and it has hydraulics on it. Hydraulics are been put on. They're not factory hydraulics. As you can see right down here, we see there's the hydraulic cylinder. We'll get to talk about the back of it in just a minute. There is the control valve. And up here on the front is a forward power steering pump that is used to pump the hydraulic fluid. Now the lift works real good. You notice it also has the hand on it here to raise it up and down. That's locked off so it'll move freely. I'm going to be doing some restoration on this tractor. It is, you know, a classic piece of equipment. It's the whole complete tractor. Everything's there. Runs good. I do need to put a release bearing in it, so I'm going to have to break it down and install a release bearing. Go ahead and probably put new clutch and pressure plate in it too. No need of breaking it down without doing that, although the clutch and pressure plate seems strong. Tires on the back are not bad. They got some cracks in them because they're very old. This side over here still has one of the original long short bar type of tires. I had to put new front tires on the front of it because they were in pretty bad shape. Now this tractor did not have 3-point hitch ability to it, so I went underneath and made a mounting support and have put 3-point hitch on this tractor. And we have the upper link here. and it's mounted to the seat posts. So here's the deal. Like I say, I'm going to restore this. I'll probably will video the whole process of tearing it apart and sandblasting and repainting. I thought about adding a second channel and put this type of stuff on, but I just don't see a second channel really doing anything for me. So I'd like to hear your comments if y'all would like to see a process like this. So I'll be working through this over the winter while we have time. Like I say, it is a 1949 Massey Harris. If you don't know much about Massey Harris, they were built in Canada. Later on in the 50s, Massey Harris started struggling. Other companies like International Harvester and John Deere started making more powerful tractors, and by that time Massey Harris merged with Ferguson and it became Massey Ferguson. So this is called a pony tractor, and everything's to it all but the two side plates that cover the battery. So I got to make those, and it's running a 12-volt battery. I've got to change the generator over to a 12-volt alternator and then see if I can find a 12-volt battery that'll fit in this tractor. 6-volt battery fits for no problem, but 12-volt batteries are a little bit too long to fit in between the starter and the steering box. So yeah, leave your comments down below if you'd like to hear or see some of the restoration on this. I think it'd be fun to bring an old classic back to a new looking condition. And don't forget, guys, there is a hurricane coming, and it's headed straight for the coast of North Carolina, about 80 miles from where I'm at, where it's going to make landfall. So keep us in your thoughts on that, because as you can see, it's like it's going to be a pretty tough one. And also, I forgot to mention, we still got those two beautiful Hamlin receivers to go through. So we'll be getting them on the bench here this winter and going through those. Also, we'll be finishing up the little Helicrafters receiver, SX38. We'll be getting back on that here pretty shortly too. So guys, that's about it on this video. Like I say, this weekend I'm working on this 101E, and I'll be showing you how to do cold neutralization on this. And this is where you pull the accessory plug that takes the heaters off the final tubes. It leaves the heater on the 12BY6 tube. That leaves the heaters on the driver tube, and we'll put a T in the back. One side goes to a dummy load, the other side will go to something like a detector, so like an oscilloscope or a receiver. We'll be using an oscilloscope. So we'll be showing you how to do cold neutralization on a radio of this type. I like doing the cold neutralization because it seems to work fairly good, but we got to get the problems worked out of it first. So anyway, I know a lot going on in this video. I just wanted to give an update of what's going on, where we at, what we're working on, what we're doing, and what we're going to do in the future. Lots and lots of more videos to come. I'm trying to work out with the time to get in the shop to do more things. Usually in the summer months, I would be out here on weeknights running the air conditioning. It doesn't cost quite as much to run air conditioning as it does heat, but with the grandkids here just about every day, it's almost been impossible to get out here at in the evenings. But it's been a long day today. Went to work this morning at 4 o'clock and just got home a little while ago, and it's almost 4 o'clock again. So Anyway, until the next video, we'll see you then.